Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hopefully, you all are doing well. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are here to talk some college football. We're going to fill out our bracket for the college football playoff. We'll talk early look at some bets as well. Let me pull up some odds that we can run through. And we'll just talk like general news, I guess, as well. Philip Rivers back in our lives, thank God. I'm like so excited. It really sounds like Philip Rivers is going to start. So I'm super excited for that. We'll talk more Friday. I guess tomorrow. I'm sure tomorrow and then Friday as well. We'll talk. We'll talk some Philip Rivers with Steve. Steve will be coming on. I think he hasn't been on the last few weeks. I think he's coming on tomorrow, so we'll have him back. And then obviously Friday when we're getting into like NFL betting picks and stuff. If you guys have questions on anything, you can ask. I guess like to start out from like a higher level, if we want to talk college football playoff, I haven't given my opinion on this because we haven't talked college football on the stream yet. Because the bracket came out Sunday and we were talking NFL on Sunday, and then I was on Johnny's stream, which was long. So, and that was an NFL stream too. And then Monday we, recapped NFL and talked Monday Night Football. So I haven't talked about the college football. It's pretty stale at this point. Everybody's talked about it, but just once again, they used to debate all the time. Like it can't be 4 teams. There's more than 4 teams that have a chance. And then they expanded to 12, and and nothing has changed switching it to 12 teams. You still get these just moronic decisions by the committee, leaving Notre Dame out. If you guys don't know, I do not like Notre Dame. I actually usually actively root against Notre Dame. I think that Notre Dame is one of 5 teams that can win the title. So them not being left out of the playoff is embarrassing. The fact that we have James Madison and Tulane both in this, it's just stupid. And this is no shame to any small school, but this is not college basketball. You are not going to have a Cinderella team go all the way and win the college football championship. You're just not going to do it. So if you want to sit there and say we have a 12-team playoff, but we don't have the 12 best teams, because you cannot tell me that James Madison and Tulane should be in this. I mean, Tulane they played Ole Miss early in the season. They got absolutely smoked. So I think that's annoying. I feel bad for the Notre Dame players that, played their last football game ever and didn't know it was their last football game ever. Not all of them, but the ones that aren't going to go on and, play professional football. Some of those kids didn't know it was their last game when they played, which is unfortunate. Would have really liked to seen them get a chance at this thing. I think that they are one of the few teams that are live to win it. And I would have liked to seen Jeremiah Love on the biggest stage possible. But again, it's a stale topic at this point, but it's just annoying. Honestly, as someone that's a huge college football fan, I think it's insulting to us as viewers of the sport. Other stuff I want to sell is I'm tired of NFL fan bases, to be quite honest with you. And it's not even just the fan bases. That's a large portion of it, but it's more just I don't know if it's younger people or what, but these people that watch football and give opinions on Twitter and wherever else, I'm just tired of reading this. Every single person just overreacts to the slightest thing that happens. I don't understand it. Like Jalen Hurts getting all this negativity, Patrick Mahomes getting this negativity. These guys have you're talking about a Super Bowl MVPs, and these guys are getting shit on by these random people on Twitter. And it's ridiculous. I'm really just tired of it, to be honest. So if you're one of those people, I mean, what are we doing? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs getting booed on their home field is ridiculous. They've won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. What would you say to these fan bases, like the Jets and the Browns and like these teams, these people have never even seen good football played in their entire lives. And then you have these teams that have won Super Bowls and they're like booing it. I don't understand this. But I digress. Anyways, let's get into this bracket. People live in the moment too much. It's exactly what it is, Guru. It's like everybody overreacts to the most recent thing they saw. Like, we're talking Hall of Fame quarterbacks have played bad seasons, entire seasons. And nowadays, if you play two bad games, I mean, these people want to bench you, run you out of town. Like, what are we doing here? It's ridiculous. Sometimes people struggle. Like, guys don't play good every single game. That doesn't mean that they should be benched or, if it's doesn't mean a coach should be fired. I don't understand this. It's really strange. And I feel like it was bad when I started watching sports. I would say like when I was like 14 is when I really, really started watching sports. So it was bad then, but I feel like it's just gotten progressively worse the last 3 years. It's especially bad. But all right, getting into the college stuff. We do have Army-Navy game this weekend, which is awesome. I love the Army-Navy game. I know everyone's going to give you the stats of the service academy games, and the Army-Navy game always goes under and all that stuff. I don't care what your stats and trends are. I literally don't care. I've told myself all season I was betting the over in the Army-Navy game. I like the look of the over this year. And it's 38.5. So that's just an early pick for you guys, not related to the playoff or anything or bowl games, but I like Army-Navy over 38.5. I've just told myself all season I was going to bet it, and I'm sticking to it. I don't care what the trends say. I'm aware of the trends. I'm aware of the Service Academy games and all that stuff, but I like the over in this game this weekend, Army-Navy. So over 38.5 is my pick there. I don't know if I have this playoff bracket finalized, so I might need some help from the chat here. So we can kind of get in here and fill this out. Obviously, I'm taking Oregon over JMU. Obviously, I'm taking Ole Miss over Tulane. So I think those ones are obvious. I think Alabama, Oklahoma is I don't know. Alabama, Oklahoma, Miami, Texas A&M. Those are the two best games from the first round. We have, I think Alabama's 1.5. Alabama's favored by 1.5, and then Texas A&M's favored by 3.5. So this is I think I'm going to take Texas A&M in that game. Miami's good. I do think Miami's one of the 12 best teams, but I still don't trust Carson Beck in a big pressure situation. I think that Texas A&M can get after him a little bit. He hasn't faced a ton of pressure in a lot of these games that Miami's played this season, and I do think that can be a deciding factor on top of obviously Texas A&M having a pretty distinct, home field advantage there. I will say, though, Malachi Toney is one of my favorite players in the country and someone that could take this game over. So I'm leaning Texas A&M right now, and it doesn't matter. Whoever wins this game, I'm taking Ohio State over them anyway. So it really doesn't matter who wins this game, but I'm leaning towards A&M right now. And I'm also leaning towards Alabama in this one. Obviously, kind of a rematch from what we saw they played earlier on in the season. Oklahoma's coming in pretty good form, and Alabama's coming in pretty bad form. But that being said, I think the time off can help out a little bit for Alabama. Maybe they can reset. And, I think top to bottom, Alabama is the better team, even though they have 3 losses. So I'm going to take Alabama over this one, over Oklahoma, but that one's up in the air for me. And regardless, I'm taking Indiana to beat them anyways. So that's kind of my thoughts there. I think that we are perfectly set up for an Ohio State-Indiana rematch in the national title, which would just be hilarious after all the SEC talk. And look, I do think the SEC is the best conference. I think that's undeniable, but it would just be funny that that's like the biggest talking point, and then we would get 2 Big Ten teams in the championship, I think that'd be pretty funny. But I think we're on a collision course for Ohio State, Indiana in the national title game. And I think Ohio State is going to win that rematch. I still like Ohio State to win the national title. I guess filling in the remainder of this is where it gets tricky. I could see Ole Miss beating Georgia and rallying. I think Georgia's really, really good, but I don't think they're quite as good as people are viewing them currently. Like, I understand the score of the Alabama game. It looks like it was a blowout, but Alabama really just beat themselves for the majority of that game. Couldn't run the football at all. I don't really think Georgia dominated that game to the extent of what the score looks like. And I don't know why I do not trust Gunnar Stockton. And I can't put my finger on it. I think he's a good kid. I think Georgia's defense has been playing exceptional football, which is kind of what they were known for initially under Kirby Smart. So it's good to see them get back to that form after last season. But I don't trust Gunnar Stockton. So I could see Ole Miss winning this game. And then what to do with the Oregon and Texas Tech game. If you're in the chat, if you have any leans on Oregon, Texas Tech, I can see both sides of this. So as you can see, FanDuel has hypothetical lines posted for these potential quarterfinal games. So we have Ohio State would be -7.5 over A&M. They'd be -9.5 over Miami, Florida. Texas Tech would be -1.5 over the Oregon Ducks. And I don't really like either of these teams. I don't think Oregon is particularly good. And I think Texas Tech is good, but I don't trust their quarterback situation of any team in the playoff. I don't trust Baron Morton the most. I do not think Baron Morton is very good. I think he holds this team back quite a bit. So if we were in a situation where Texas Tech had a better quarterback, I could see Texas Tech making a run potentially to the national title game. But I don't trust Baron Morton whatsoever. So, initially coming into this bracket, I was like, before we saw the bracket, we just kind of loosely knew what teams were going to be playing. I was hoping we got Texas Tech against a team like Notre Dame, because that would have been just like a max play for me. I would have been all over Notre Dame in that one. But unfortunately, we have a matchup of two teams that I want to fade. I don't like either. I don't like Oregon and I don't like Texas Tech. So I think right now, Oregon is like a little bit more experienced of a team, in my opinion, and playing these games like this. So I think I would take Oregon over Texas Tech, but that is not a confident pick whatsoever. Full disclosure, I don't like Texas Tech and I don't like Oregon. So, and I would take Indiana in that rematch over Oregon for sure. And I would take Indiana over Texas Tech as well. So then it just comes down to this Ole Miss Georgia game. I'm seeing Georgia would be -5.5 in this one. I think I agree with that. It's really just a tricky unknown situation with how the team's going to perform with the whole drama that they've been through with the coaching situation. So I would probably just lean Georgia, but I wouldn't be shocked if Ole Miss did pull off that upset there. If we do get this correct, so if we get Oregon versus Texas Tech, Alabama versus Indiana, Ole Miss versus Georgia, and A&M versus Ohio State, I think the most likely upset is it's probably Ole Miss, honestly, if I had to pick one. I wouldn't really consider Oregon over Texas Tech an upset. It's basically it's a 1.5 point line, so it's pretty even. But I think it would be more likely that Ole Miss beats Georgia than Alabama beats Indiana right now, I think. So if you're looking for longer odds bets on a team to make the semifinal, I think Ole Miss would be my pick if I wanted. I'm trying to see if I can here, let's see. Semifinal odds, we have Ohio State's -330, Indiana's -310, Georgia's -260, Oregon's -125. So it's interesting that Texas Tech in the hypothetical lines I'm seeing, Texas Tech is favored by 1.5 over Oregon, but Oregon is minus 125 to make the semifinals in comparison to Texas Tech being minus 115. So I think that's pretty interesting. Ole Miss is plus 195 to make the semifinals. Alabama is plus 450. So that kind of matches up with what I said. I think Ole Miss would be the most likely lower seed team to make a run in there. If you wanted to sprinkle on that plus 195, you could, but you're getting like 20 cents less on just Ole Miss to beat Georgia, and that's, not running the risk that somehow like Tulane would, upset Ole Miss. So I don't know. You can kind of think about that however you want. But I think this is my bracket right now. Oregon over James Madison in round 1, Alabama over Oklahoma, Ole Miss over Tulane, and Texas A&M over Miami. I then have Ohio State over A&M, Georgia over Ole Miss, Indiana over Bama, and Oregon over Texas Tech. 3 Big Ten teams in the Final Four is crazy. Indiana over Big Ten, or over Oregon rather, and then Ohio State over Georgia. Ohio State, Indiana rematch in the national title game. I'm going to take Ohio State in that one. And I don't know for total points. What was the line when they just played? I'd probably just wait and see. Go look at a hypothetical, but I can't remember what the total was in that game. I didn't bet it. As far as some other games to look at, bowl games, that is, I think UNLV in Ohio is fun. Big total on that one, 62.5. That's a fun game. East Carolina and Pittsburgh is a fun one. It's a big total as well, 59.5. So those two stick out to me as just fun games. What do you guys think of Penn State Clemson? I've seen a lot of people on Clemson in that one. I think they opened up at like 1.5. I'm seeing 3.5 now. So they've definitely taken quite a bit of money. UConn and Army is fun. Illinois, Tennessee is a fun game. That's a 60.5 total. I like that. Iowa, Vandy. I'll probably be on Vandy, assuming like guys play without me looking at opt-out stuff. I'd probably be on Vandy pretty heavy over Iowa. Let me see if I can look up some opt-out stuff. Let's see. So, let me see. Let's find the Iowa. Well, let me look at Pittsburgh and East Carolina first. I don't see any confirmed opt-outs yet, but I could see some of those Pittsburgh offensive players not playing. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. ECU probably is pretty safe. Penn State, I definitely would feel more confident in them having a larger amount of opt-outs than Clemson as well, especially with like the new coach coming in. Not that Clemson won't have opt-outs, but I think maybe more players of consequence of the younger guys, because like the guys that are going to opt out for Clemson are all going to be the guys probably going to the NFL draft. They probably have like four to five of those guys just off the top of my head. It would be a lot of like the defensive guys. I don't really think they have anybody NFL caliber on offense outside of maybe Antonio Williams. So they could definitely be down some defensive guys that are going to leave. And then I saw Cade Klubnik said he would play, which, I mean, he needs to because he played like terrible all season. So he really doesn't have room to be sitting out this bowl game, personally, in my opinion. Pop-Tarts Bowl is pretty good. GT and BYU, I like that one. I would be on BYU right now, but I don't know about Baron Bachmeier. He got pretty banged up in that Big 12 championship game. So that would give me a little bit of pause there if I wanted to back them early. I think I'll probably wait and see on that one. I would be on North Texas in the New Mexico Bowl, but with the Eric Morris leaving, I would be worried about North Texas's most of their good players opting out and potentially trying to follow Eric Morris. So I would be cautious in terms of backing North Texas right now. What is the line in the USC game? TCU's plus 5.5. Total's 59.5. I would have to guess most of the USC guys that are good just don't play. Yeah. I don't know. I think Vandy's got to be a top look. There's just no way that I don't see how Diego Pavia would not play in this game. Especially because he so if you guys didn't see, not a lot of people thought that I think most people that thought Diego Pavia would try to go to the NFL, he's going to switch his position. But he accepted an invite to the Senior Bowl as a quarterback. So it seems like he's going to try and like impress NFL personnel that he can play quarterback. I don't necessarily think he can, but I'm willing to open my mind to it. So I don't really see how he sits out this game, especially because we saw that he confirmed that Senior Bowl invite. So I would have to assume Diego Pavia is playing in this bowl game. And that total is pretty high for an Iowa game, 46.5. And I think that's telling to me, right? So if this total was at like 40 or below, I would say they're assuming it's going to be a classic Iowa low-scoring game, and then that would favor the underdog in Iowa. But this total is at 46.5. They're expecting some points to be scored, and that would favor Vandy. I would imagine if Pavia plays, that Vandy, most of their guys are going to play outside of maybe the tight end. So Vandy looks like a good look to me at 5.5. That's probably my favorite right now for some of these look-ahead bowl games. And then what to do with the Michigan-Texas game, I got no idea. Texas will definitely have some portal guys. I think that one's probably a wait and see for me. I'm seeing Texas minus 5.5 right now. And then Texas is taking all the money. They have 70% of the bets and 85% of the money bet on them right now on the spread. So I'm probably going to wait and see on that one. But Vandy looks really good to me right now for an early look. San Diego State looks good to me as an underdog, just assuming that most of these North Texas good players don't play. Clemson, I would feel good with. ECU as a dog, I'd probably feel good with. And then I'll think about the UNLV. I'll do some more like research tonight, and I'll start posting some picks for bowl games as more opt-outs and transfers come in. But overall, that does it. The bracket is here. I'll tweet it out later, maybe. For anyone that missed the stream, I will be live tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We're going to talk Thursday night football. And I think Steve, like I said, is going to come on. He hasn't been on in a few weeks. So we've got lots of NFL news to go over, lots of baseball winter meetings news to go over. I'm sure there's plenty for us to talk about tomorrow. So thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck tonight if you're betting, playing DFS or any of that. NBA Cup is in full go here. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.